Hello YouTube. I'm going to do something that I've never done before. I'm going to make a YouTube video. And the reason I'm going to make this video is because my son and I were looking in, getting into 3D printing. So we've been doing a lot of research. We wanted a machine that had good bones. It didn't have to be top of the line, but we did want good starter features. We wanted good workability as far as the form factor itself. We wanted it to be a decent size, and obviously we didn't want to pay a whole lot for it. Who does? And so we kept coming across this Tronxy X5SA, and I've seen probably a dozen videos on this Tronxy, all the way back to, I don't know, probably 2018. And a lot of their points back in those days were pretty valid points, and I probably wouldn't have bought the machine back in those days. But in the meantime, Tronxy has listened to what the individuals were saying, and they've made changes. They made some changes to the core model, and then they made some additional changes to the Pro model. And this is the Pro model that has some additional upgrades. And I felt those upgrades were worthwhile to pay the extra $80 to get the upgrades come in the box with the machine. So that being said, I really was skeptical about the videos, because the videos kept saying that if you're a new user, you're a new printer, that you're going to want to stay away from this machine, that this machine is not for the new user. But I liked the features it had, and I liked the potential that it had. So I threw caution to the wind, and I went ahead and I bought the machine. And I built the machine, and I am now using the machine. So in all fairness to Tronxy, and to this machine, and to the individuals out there who want to get into 3D printing like I did, and not to miss a great opportunity, I thought I would do a newbie review. Maybe I'll call this a newbie review. Now, I'm not new to a lot of things. I'm almost 50 years old. My son and I tinker a lot. We do things with Arduino, we do things with Raspberry Pi. We do mini milling. We have a mini mill. We have a metal lathe. We do a lot of woodworking. I'm a contractor, so we do pretty much anything. But I am new to 3D printing. I have never done 3D printing. My son has only done 3D printing in school on the limited machines that they have. So I'm going to do a review from a newbie review perspective and how I feel about this machine. So I'll start off by saying the machine came flat packed, and I expected it. I wasn't expecting anything else. There was only a few parts assembled. The linear guides, the heads on the linear guides were assembled. The print head was assembled, and the cable chains were assembled. Everything else came flat packed in about a bazillion parts. If that's a number, I'm going to use it because there was a lot of parts. As a matter of fact, you can't go by how many screws you have left over, because there is a lot of screws laying over there, and I know that I got all the screws in. They just give you so many extra. They give you extra of everything, which is nice. So experience putting it together. Start there. So you get a flat pack box. There's lots of videos out there, so there's no reason to not get it right. You get this book. The book is not great. Again, this is a Chinese company, so you just have to look at the pictures a lot. Again, a lot of videos, watch videos. The biggest thing I can say is assemble the frame loosely. Don't tighten everything up immediately. If you don't have a square, buy a square. You can't have a good machine on anything, whether you're metalworking, woodworking, or printing, if your machine's not square. So do yourself a favor, don't tighten things down until you know they're square. It's going to save you a lot in the long run. But again, here's the book. It's like 14 steps in here. Of the 14 steps, a lot of the steps are combined in the same steps. So I'm not going to complain about it, because again, there's lots of videos out there and there's lots of pictures, and this isn't rocket science. So put the machine together. In all honesty, the hardest thing I had time doing was putting these 4 little damn feet on. I think the most time I spent was putting these 4 little damn feet on, which I have no idea why, but they just gave me a fit. But if that's my worst complaint, then okay. So I got the machine assembled. Everything was pretty straightforward. They give you a lot of cable management. So it comes with, you know, the cable chains. It comes with wire loom, extra wire loom. It comes with this decorative stuff. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera here, but there's like this blue decorative stuff. I'll turn it here a little bit. There's this blue decorative stuff here that is supposed to be used to decorate the face. Here, well, I don't like blue, so I really didn't care for it. I'm not going to put it on. Actually, you can see it over here. You can see that I used it over here to cover up the wires that go to my LEDs, because my lighting over here in this corner is very bad. So I just kind of use it for wire management, and I'll probably replace it with something else later. So they give you a lot of wire management, and if you look at the machine itself, if you look around, there's not wires everywhere. They use this ribbon cable, and this ribbon cable handles the whole top end of the machine. So everything up here, with the exception of the heated bed, which is a nice feature, and they give you a cable chain for that, runs off this ribbon cable. Then the rest of it, you know, runs right off the computer, and you can easily manage it by using some of the stuff they give you. Has a touchscreen, color touchscreen, which is nice, very responsive. I haven't had no problems with it at all. They give you okay, it's a what they call a Core XY machine. So you have your Y, you have your X on top. It's belt fed, so there's 2 belts that run around these pulleys and stuff. All the pulleys, you know, you just need to make sure you get these in line. The back, when you set the back ones, you can slide them up and down the road. You just need to make sure you get them in line, so they're parallel or perpendicular to the head. So you know, you got your linear rails. The linear rails are very nice. I would suggest you make sure you adjust the tension on linear rails. You don't want them to be dragging really hard. You just want those linear rails to be riding the rails, but without play. So you're going to want to take the tension off of them a little bit. They came a little bit tight. Take the tension off of them a little bit. If you have them too tight, you're going to feel every imperfection down this rail, and that's going to translate into the head. Again, so I'll stick with assembly for now. So during the assembly, I chose not to use these, okay? These pillow berries. They're for the lead screw. They give them to you to put up here on the top of the lead screw. My problem with that is a lead screw is meant to move an object in one direction. It is not meant to guide it in any other direction. So if this lead screw is not exactly machined correctly, or it has a bend or a bow in it, and you have it locked in, it's going to translate into your table. And you don't want that translating into your table. These guides are what hold it straight and even and keep the noise out of your print. So I went ahead and omitted these. I'm not putting them on. And so far, so good. As far as the Z-axis, it has two Z-axis stepper motors. So these Z-axis motors run the level of the bed. And again, a great starter machine. I'm going to tie them together. I'm going to tie them together with a belt, because you can put pressure on one side and get one side to move prior to the other side moving, and that is a problem. Again, it's a starter machine. It's not a big deal. Sprocket here, sprocket there, belt in between. Synchronize them. If you push one, the other one moves. Problem solved. All of this came assembled. You just had to put the Bowden tube in to the extractor. The extractor leads into a filament runout switch. So it actually has a runout switch. If you run out of filament, it stops the machine, picks right back up where it left off. These are some pretty nice features for, I didn't tell you yet, but the machine only cost me like $360. Again, for all the bones you're getting here, everything else, you could not buy the pieces and parts of this machine for $360. To source them all individually, you have the silent drivers. So this thing's making no noise except for the fan. The only noise, if you hear anything at all, it's just the fan, the cooling fan. That's it. It makes no noise. You have a 360 watt power supply. It is a 24 volt power supply. So it really does have a lot of features when you're looking at the bare bones of something you want to work on down the road and make it better. And there's so many people out there that are buying this machine. There are lots of modifications you can do to this machine. You can print them out. As a matter of fact, I'm printing out right now, the bracket you see in here is this bracket right here. It is also this bracket right here. And there's one around the corner. I'm going to print out 8 of these. Now, I don't think it needed it, to be honest with you, but, I mean, number one, it's orange, and I love orange. And number two, I can print out parts to make the thing that's printing it better. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I'll probably print all kinds of stuff for this thing, just because it's really cool to do that. So, I'll talk about the print quality. Just give me 1 second. So, from the time I put it together to the time I set it up on this cabinet, and again, it is a big machine. Just go out, go to Home Depot, spend $90. If you don't have something to sit it on, this is just a kitchen base cabinet. It's a 24-inch by 24-inch kitchen base cabinet. Even this piece of plywood is a pre-cut piece of plywood from Home Depot that fits right on top of it. Just get 3/4. Make sure you nail it down or screw it down. It ties everything together. You just want it to be on a stable base. Not that it shakes a lot, but you don't want it shaking at all. The idea is to have it not shaking at all, because you don't want it translating into your print. All right, so we manually leveled the bed by measuring from here to here in 4 locations. These screws were all adjusted tight, as tight as you can get them. When we then turned the auto leveling on, our worst point on the print area was like 0.75. 0.5 is the threshold. We turned this back corner, back here, 2 turns. We turned the middle 1 turn, re-leveled it again, because it does have a bed sensor. By the way, when I'm talking about features, it does have a bed sensor. When we checked it again, we were like within 0.25, which is within that threshold, ready to print. So we printed. We changed out the regular, or the PLA they sent. I didn't even try using it. It's down here. And I bought this Hatchbox, which had pretty good ratings. 200-degree melting is what I have it set at. 70-degree on the bed. I set the bed and fired it up. We used a print that was pre-sliced already. I didn't even slice it. It was on the card that came with it. And again, being new to printing, I don't know what this means, but I can tell you I'm pretty impressed. This is the very first thing we printed out. The 20 by 20 by 20 millimeter cube, square cylinder. We measured this for squareness. We measured it for tolerances. It is 20 by 20 by 20. And if you look at the layer thickness on this, the layer thickness is set to 4 millimeter. You really can't even, I'm trying to turn it in such a way that you can even begin to see the layers. I mean, again, it's the reason why I'm doing this video, because I don't want newbies to miss out on a great machine. If you take the time to put it together and to set it up correctly, make sure it's square, make sure it's level, adjust your belts, get your belts. You know, you want them to be, you want to be able to pling them, but you don't want them bending the shafts on the steppers, but you want them to be snug. And I'm sure probably within a few days I'll have to adjust them, make some adjustments to them. But to be able to print that the very first time on a machine that has been getting reviews saying, if you're a first-time printer, me, stay away from this machine. So, perfect timing, the corners. So I've been printing these corners. I just finished one. I don't know, I'm gonna have to let it cool down. I did learn that I do not want to remove these while the bed is still hot. I did have one, full disclosure, this one over here, I took it off the bed when the bed was still hot, and I'm using a 4 millimeter layer. Layer number 1 and layer number 2 did not adhere to each other very well in a couple spots, and so I delaminated the first layer by pulling it off. I kind of pulled some of the layers just in about an inch by inch. It's not a big deal. Again, I'm new to this. I'm learning. So I just put it around the corner here because you'll never see it. So if I get opportunity, I'll pull that off and let's look at it. But you can see the print speed. Right now, I think I was printing at like 80 millimeters or something like that. So it's printing pretty fast, and I didn't jack it up. I didn't really do anything to adjust it. I do try to monitor and adjust the bed temperature and the nozzle temperature because I have noticed I've been able to affect some changes. So all in all, my newbie review of this is don't be afraid of this machine. There's a lot of people out there that have it. It is, the bones of this machine are solid. You can do out of the box some very nice printing with this machine, and it leaves room for upgrades, which, let's face it, it's fun. I mean, what's more fun than having an item that you outlive its usefulness, and then you take the time to do the upgrades and you make it useful again. You can't get much better than that. This is a great machine, and I'm going to end the video there, but I just wanted to do this review because I did not think that in the videos that I watched that the machine itself got a fair shake when it comes to newbie users. And I'm about as newbie to this as I can get. Now again, I am 50 and I'm Gen Xer, so take it for what it's worth. But there's a lot of people out there like me, and there's a lot of people out there who are using this machine, and there's, you know, it's very easy to get questions answered about this machine. You probably heard the fan shut off. So now we're just down to, I believe we have the power supply fan running right now, which you probably can't hear. So great machine. Again, I think I paid like $360 for it. I put Hatchbox filament in it. I did order the pieces and parts to tie these two together. And I did order something else for it. But I don't remember what it was. It was something minor. Oh, I ordered the wireless upgrade. So you can buy a wireless upgrade that goes in the box, and that allows you to interface with the machine wirelessly rather than having to run the chip back and forth, which is what we're doing now. So anyways, if you find this helpful, you find this useful, leave a comment, hit the like, subscribe, follow. Thank you, appreciate your time.